So reading foundations is basically 4 basic skills, concepts of print, book handling, those types of things. Phonemic awareness or phonological awareness is the ability to hear and manipulate sounds. And those standards are only TK through first grade. Obviously, we would do them with older students as needed. Phonics and word recognition, and then the fluency, the ability to use all that fluently. I always like to put reading foundations in context, though. I love this image, what it takes to be a reader. So reading is a very complex skill, and it is not natural. We don't just magically learn how to read. If I was on a deserted island by myself as a child, I would not learn how to read. It has to be explicitly taught. The brain is not naturally wired for it. Really, reading encompasses, or literacy encompasses, all of these components. So there's the language aspect as well as the word recognition. Today, we're going to focus on word recognition, but I also want to remind us that the language comprehension aspect is just as important. They work together. And so when we're in TK and through 2, we are over on the left side of the graphic, right? Which is where we're teaching these things very explicitly and kind of separately. And as we go up through the grades, those weave together so that we don't even pay attention to those things. So by the time we're a more proficient reader, we just do all of these things naturally. So that would be us, right, as adults. But our students need each of these things very, very explicitly taught. This really is the foundation of everything that we need to know as leaders. And the problem is that when most of us went to school, the way that we were taught was probably, this is the letter T and it makes this sound T, right? But that's not really how the English language works. And so we were all taught backwards. And so if we truly want our students to learn how to read, we have to make sure that we teach the way that English is designed. And that is from a sound to a symbol. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Because if we want our students to master reading and decoding and become fluent readers, there's a very specific way that we need to make sure that those things are introduced and taught, and how we help our students master that. We are a sound to symbol language. Not all languages are like that. This is what is unique to English and why it can be very challenging. And there, depending on who you ask, 44 or 45 different sounds in the English language, right? And they are not the same sounds that are in other languages. So if we're working with students acquiring additional languages, they may have different sounds, right? But each sound has anywhere from 1 to 8 symbols that represent it. And this is why reading can be very difficult. And so it starts off easily for kids, like, here's one sound, one letter. But as we get into first grade and beyond, there can be all these different patterns that represent that same sound. So that is like the main focus of it.